Hi, Betty.
Hi, Betty. So everyone, we're waiting just 1 extra minute and we'll start. Thanks for your patience. Yeah, Jasmine, of course, please maybe send us an email at info@soundsory.com or caroline@soundsory.com just to make sure we remember, but of course, we'll be able to send you a recorded version. Okay, I think we can start. Anyway, the late joiners will come later. Can you all hear us well? If you can just confirm through the chat, but I think, yeah, perfect, thanks. Cool, so hi everyone, thanks a lot for joining us tonight, today, wherever you are based in the world. Cara and I are happy to be presenting this webinar and give you a bit more information about Soundsory and the program. Just a short introduction. I'm Caroline. I have been working for Sound for Life for a year now. I work mostly on sales and operations for both Forebrain and Soundsory. I am based out of Hong Kong and I'm French.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Cara Tavlacci. I'm an occupational therapist now for the past 15 years. I specialize in kids with sensory integration, floor time, and auditory interventions. I'm also a certified Tomatis consultant. I'm originally from New York, but I just relocated to Paris, France for this amazing opportunity to work in the company office here based in Paris.
And we also have Irene, who most of you probably know, who's also available through chat. She'll be answering to your questions live. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them through the chat. Cara and I will be presenting and Irene can reply. And at the end, we'll have a question and answers section when Irene will just be able to list all the questions that she hasn't been able to reply to. And Cara and I will do our best to reply, to answer. Okay, so Soundsory, first of all, what is Soundsory? So we launched Soundsory last summer. It's a multi-sensory home-based program that's designed to help improve motor and cognitive abilities. So it consists of specifically designed music that we've processed with neuro-acoustic modifications and also a series of approximately 50 movement-based exercises. The program lasts for 40 days and it's 30 minutes per day. The days, are split in two parts. There's 25 minutes of music listening and then 5 minutes of the body movement exercises also paired with music. So for people who would buy Soundsory, you would get the program within these headphones. So for anyone buying Soundsory, you actually receive the pair of headphones that look exactly like on the picture, or which I have here also. And the music program is already included within the headphones.
The focus of Soundsory is that it is a music and movement program and it's designed to get the individual child, adolescent, or adult moving. It can be beneficial for children as young as 3 who have any type of coordination difficulties, problems with balance, anything related to the body, but poor body awareness, difficulties with rhythm and timing as well. It can also be used with adults and the elderly. As you know, as we age, unfortunately, our balance and motor skills can begin to deteriorate. Soundsory is a great way to boost the brain and the body. It can be used for specific diagnoses such as ADD, ADHD, children on the autism spectrum, stroke, auditory processing, and sensory processing disorders. As many of you know, many of these diagnoses can also have movement or coordination delays along with that. For example, if we take autism as a diagnosis, coming from my OT background and lens, I'm not treating the label of autism, but my goals really are working on the treatment that will focus on the body and how the child uses the body for daily life skills. Can they maintain good posture during schoolwork, use both hands appropriately, listen and follow directions. Adults, not my area of expertise, but let's say you have a client that is coming because they want to improve their dancing skills. What is the main skill involved in dancing? Rhythm, timing, coordination. So Soundsory is a great tool that works on the body, the vestibular part of the ear, and all things that relate to the abilities to process rhythm and time. Next slide. The great thing about the human brain, as many of you know, is that it can change, and then it can change at any age. There's been much research around this concept of neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life according to the experiences that you have. We see this in injuries where parts of the brain have been damaged and other parts within the brain are able to compensate and sometimes take over for the injured or diseased area, creating new connections. Soundsory works on this idea of neuroplasticity. The program is designed to capture the brain's attention while providing strong sensory stimulation. As many of you know, over 70% of the brain stimulation comes from the ear. Soundsory is designed to tap into this energizing power of the ear as a whole, so stimulation to the cochlea, as well as the vestibule, meaning sounds and rhythm. This is why the music used in the Soundsory program is specifically endowed with rhythmic properties in order to target the vestibular part of the ear. The program, as I said, is repeated for 40 days with various pieces of music and exercise to keep stimulating the brain in new and novel ways. Right.
So about the program itself, so I'll be explaining a bit more about the Rhythmic music program, so the first 25 minutes every day. So the music is specifically composed to emphasize rhythm and to activate body movement. Why are we focusing so much on rhythm? Well, actually, when we're listening to music, the brain is actually making predictions based on the rhythm and the tempos of the music. And the brain will actually experience satisfaction and confidence once this prediction is confirmed. The idea is that with building on this satisfaction and the confidence, the brain will actually be able to stay more focused and will be able to build more complex organizational abilities upon that. The music's been processed using a patented dynamic filter. For those of you who are familiar already with forebrain and with Tomatis, we're actually again using a dynamic filter. It's the same gating system, gating idea, except that this time the filter is actually set for different purposes. The music will be delivered both through air and bone conduction. So again, if I show you the pair of headphones, air conduction goes through the ears, and bone conduction is here on top of the skull. So I'm not sure how well you can see the camera, but anyway, there's a bone conduction transducer here on top of the skull. The music is very rhythmic. It varies from very classical music such as Bach music, Haydn, Strauss, but also we have children's song, jazz music, Latin music, gospel, so it's actually very varied. Each day, the first part, there'll be around 8 to 10 tracks, we'll say 9 tracks on average, and then an additional 2-3 tracks that will play and that will be paired with the exercises. The idea is that each song lasts long enough for the brain to get used to the rhythm of the music, but short enough not to avoid any kind of habits developing, so the brain doesn't get too used to it. The idea is to still stay challenging enough. And each day also the different music, sometimes they may be repeated from one day to another, but they always organized in a different way and in specific tempos that will change in order to actually challenge the brain and create plasticity. So we're actually using here the rhythm as a way to link both the vestibular system, so which is the motor part of the ear, and the auditory system, which is the sensory organ. So we're using rhythm as the link between these two to actually influence both the brain function and body organization.
So as Caroline said, the daily program is 25 minutes of listening with 5 minutes of listening paired with exercises. These exercises can be found on the Soundsory website. And Caroline's going to just pull up one now.
Yeah, so I will show you. Give me 2 seconds. Really, you can see a video.
Yep, it's coming. Along with music. Hopefully everybody is seeing this video right now.
Are you seeing it?
No, not yet.
Video is not showing.
Loading for everybody.
Wait, sorry. Let me try again. Sorry, I've tested this many times and yet I feel there still is an issue. Is it working now?
Okay, look. Okay, technical difficulties. If you go onto the actual website, you'll be able to see the exercises and the videos. What that one was just showing is a moral reflex integration exercise where the child sits down, he has the Soundsory headphones on as such, and he's doing what's called this open and closed position, but you can find more details on the website. We encourage you to use these exercises, but we are also aware that not every, sorry, I'll let you get back to that page. We're also aware that not every client is going to be able to complete the exercise in the same way based on, age levels, skill abilities, coordination difficulties. The exercises are really designed to focus on the body and all things that relate to the body, the rhythm, the timing, the coordination, working from more of a gross motor kind of body awareness to more fine motor precise exercises. I'm not going to go into detail about each individual exercises, but just kind of give an overview. So we have exercises that really target reflex integration. So the ATNR, asymmetrical tonic mechanism. The moral reflex that if you did see the video was that exercise. There are also exercises that have more of a vestibular focus. So reaching overhead and then reaching down to touch your toes, doing some turning to the side, some rolling exercises. We also have many exercises that are left-right, crossing midline, coordination, using both sides of the body. We have cerebellum exercises, balancing on one leg while trying to clap overhead. Jumping and coordination exercises, jumping jacks, hopping on one foot, hopping forwards, hopping backwards. So there's a variety of different exercises that we try to create to give the most support to the program. But again, the clients you work with, not everybody is going to be at the same skill level, the same ability. So you can modify and adapt to meet the goals and the goals that you're working on. For example, let's say you're working on with a kiddo who has difficulties with handwriting. As many of you know, there are many things involved with handwriting skills. It starts with the body, being able to sit in your chair, being able to know how hard to hold your pencil or and use your eyes together with your hands. So Soundsory can be a great tool that can work on preparing the body, and then during the last 5 minutes, you can really focus and target on specific handwriting exercises. So the child knows that, okay, during this set period of time, I'm going to be practicing these specific exercises, and then it's finished. And the 40-day practice and repetition will help reinforce the skills that you are working on. And with any exercise program, routine and practice and repetition is great. The more you do it, the more you're going to see change, and the quicker you will see change, which is the idea behind the 40 days of this program. Now we're going to get into a little bit of the specifics of the actual equipment.
Okay, so about the technology that we use within the equipment. So as I mentioned before, we're using both air and bone conduction on top of the skull. The advantage of using these two different types of sound processing is that they're actually different, they complement each other. So air conduction, it arrives at the tympanic membrane and then reaches the inner ear and transmits it to the brain, whereas whereas bone conduction itself goes directly to the inner ear without passing through the tympanic membrane. Bone conduction is actually 10 times quicker and of higher quality than using air conduction, so there are several advantages. The first one is that because the message will first go through bone conduction and then through the ears, the brain has actually time to prepare to better integrate the sensory message, so that's one of the first advantages. The second one is that bone conduction is actually a better transmitter of low frequencies, which go directly to the vestibule. So as you know, the vestibular system's role is to actually cope with gravity, work with balance, coordination, perception of the body in space, etc. So using bone conduction is actually favoring Soundsory's mission, which is to work on, to make people more grounded and to work on improving motor skills.
In addition to the air and bone conduction, we also have what Carolina had mentioned earlier is the dynamic filter. The dynamic filter of Soundsory uses perceptual contrast, which is a change in the timbre and intensity of the music. The dynamic filter, the perceptual contrast, is within each piece of music on the Soundsory headphones. When you put the Soundsory headphones on and listen to the music, which I strongly suggest you do before giving the program out to your clients so that you can have an overall better understanding of how the music affects you and impacts you and what is involved in using the actual equipment. So when you're putting on the headphones, you will listen and you will hear a slight change in the sound of the music. So you will hear more brighter, high frequency sounding music that is more in the speech processing zone, which is more arousing for the brain. And then you will also hear the music a slightly less bright and intense. This less intense period allows for more relaxation to occur, particularly at the level of the body. It is this constant dance that triggers attentional mechanisms as well as impacting on the body. In addition, the rhythmic nature of the music allows your brain to predict what's coming, when to expect it, and it takes pleasure in that. So for example, if you take waltz music, it has that 1, 2, 3 rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and your brain and your body, as you're listening, start to anticipate this rhythm and timing music and to move in conjunction with it. Versus, let's say, a piece of Mozart where you're listening to it, you don't necessarily want to move, but you're in a more calm, focused kind of state of creativity. So the music that was created for the Soundsory program uses the air conduction, bow conduction. It also uses this filter and the pieces of the music to trigger the body and the vestibular part of the ear. Now we're going to talk about applications at home for home usage.
Yeah, so applications. The advantage of Soundsory is that it's completely universal in the sense that there's no specific language. It's music and exercises that are shown through videos. So yeah, can be used by anyone. So we already have quite a lot of professionals like yourself who are recommending Soundsory to your clients, patients to use in between sessions or even after sessions to consolidate the results they've obtained during therapy with you. So organizing the sessions, so these are advice that you can give to your clients. We encourage the clients the users to do the sessions when they're feeling calm and relaxed. We do not recommend using any screens, doing any chewing or any driving, but being creative. So it can be it can be drawing, dancing, building jigsaw puzzles, painting, whatever they feel like doing. Who can use it? So as we said previously, it can be used as early as age 3. The important thing is that the fontanelle is closed. We've listed on our website a few issues for which we don't recommend Soundsory, which I've listed here also, which are Parkinson's disease, brain seizures, tinnitus, etc. This actually doesn't mean that Soundsory wouldn't be able to have any positive effect on these people. It's just that we don't want them to use it without the support of a therapist. So we want to make sure we're being careful on our website because we don't want people who have these kind of issues to be using Soundsory as a standalone program, but it's definitely something that you can be working on with your clients and accompanying them with this. So yeah, it's really a great complement to any kind of therapy. It's also a standalone program that you can recommend, and you can adapt you can adapt the exercises for at-home usage based on your client's needs and profile.
So who can use Soundsory during their therapy sessions? So it can be used with a variety of different professionals, from occupational therapists, speech therapists, physical therapists, even psychologists. I work with many speech therapists who work with children who have language delays, and oftentimes, in addition to the language delay, there's also a motor difficulty or problems with attention. And as I mentioned earlier, the dynamic filter that is used with Soundsory allows the ear to work on processing the higher frequencies of music and those related to speech. So it could be a great tool to use in a speech therapy session as preparation for your more intense exercises and activities. I think OTs and PTs tend to work more on the body in general, so I think it's so I think the use of Soundsory in these professionals is a bit more self-explanatory. For example, maybe physical therapists working with elderly or elderly clients who have diminished balance, problems with equilibrium, or even timing of movement could be a great tool to use as preparation at the beginning of their therapy sessions, or maybe even because sometimes therapists only see their client for one time per week. So to have the client use the equipment at home to support the therapy and intervention that they're looking at. I think whatever your profession, you have to look at the needs and the goals of your clients and how you can use this tool to support and benefit those needs and goals. Potentially psychologists who are working with clients who want to work on personal development or increasing energy levels could be a nice tool to add to the as well. I use myself personally, I use it within my actual OT session. I usually work with children for 1 hour per day. It's a great complementary tool. It's easy to use. I often start my sessions with that. I work with a lot of children on the spectrum who have sensory processing delays. So it's a great tool to start them off to get their body kind of prepped and warmed up. And oftentimes when the kids are listening, they want to move. So I will have the children I work with on swings, I'll have them moving and climbing. I'll have them doing exercises while they're listening. I don't necessarily always wait till the last 5 minutes. So there's great flexibility, and you can use your clinical judgment to see when to push exercises, when to relax, when the child needs to just listen or adult needs to just listen, versus when they need to be doing exercises and activity. I often, when I'm introducing the program to families, will usually lend between sessions. So if I'm working with the child 1 time per week, I will start it that week. I will let the parents bring it home so that they can get a sense of it, to see how easy it is how easy it is to use within their daily routines. So it's a nice way to introduce them to the product as well. Again, the activities, we want them moving, but we want to be able to modify and adapt to meet the needs of your individual client, whether it's a child or an adult. In my sessions, if I'm working with younger kids, I have some 3-year-olds who can't do all of the exercises, so it's a lot more play-based, it's a lot more creative. If I'm working with a child that's working on a 3-year-old who I want to be jumping, hopping is going to be too advanced for them, so I might use jumping on a trampoline, jumping on an exercise ball. So there's different ways that you can adapt and use the exercises and the program to meet the needs of your clients. We're going to show you a short clip here now of a 16-year-old who has a diagnosis of autism. He also has language delays and significant motor planning and process difficulties. Hopefully everybody can see this.
Can you see the video?
I hope. It's me and a student working. No. Some can, some can't. Okay.
Okay. So I'll just wait for the 30 seconds. So it seems some of you can see it and others can't, so sorry about that.
Good. It's finished. It's frozen. Okay, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. But basically, it was a 16-year-old.
Oh, sorry, I'm launching it again just to see if it works any better.
I don't see it.
Okay, sorry about that. What we'll do anyway is we'll send you the presentation, we'll send you the links to the video so you'll be able to see everything. Sorry.
So that was just an example of an older boy. I also work with a younger girl. She is 4.5 years old. She has Rett syndrome, and she has difficulties moving. She can't walk, she can't crawl, she can't do all those developmental motor skills. So for her, I do a lot of kind of facilitated movements of the exercises. And right now we're really working on just balance and writing reactions, and we've seen some nice improvements with her ability to write herself. So before she would come in, we would put her on a swing, and it was just, as soon as she moved, she was falling. And now she's moving and she's trying to catch herself. She can sit up for longer periods of time. So it's been a great tool. It's been added to her routine with her physicians. We're going to move on to the next slide. Yeah. So research. So Soundsory, although a new product, was developed from many years of knowledge and research in neurostimulation techniques, as well as Tomatis sound therapy. There's a few great articles that are listed here. The effects of sound-based intervention in children with sensory processing disorders and visual motor delays. If you go to the Tomatis website, you can find many articles that are listed in addition to these. We have many research studies that are currently being completed on the use of the Soundsory. Right now, if you, they're not currently finished and published, but if you go onto our Facebook page, you'll be able to see lots of feedback and response to the use of Soundsory from individuals and professionals that have been actually using the program. I've had some just feedback that was not expected, but some people have seen some improvements in just overall emotional regulation. which is interesting. Moving on to the next. Fun little fact, the headphones also can be switched to Bluetooth mode so that you or other members of the family can use it as a regular set of headphones. When it's switched to Bluetooth mode, the bone conduction piece turns off, and you can also hook it up to your cell phone and make phone calls. There's a small microphone that's directly on the headphone. Over here on the right here. So you can use it to make phone calls and things like that as well. It's got really nice sounding music when you hook it up to your phone.
Okay, so about the company itself, so Sound for Life is a Hong Kong-based company. So Soundsory is a Sound for Life product. So we're a Hong Kong-based company specialized in the development of products to support cognitive abilities and learning skills. As we've already mentioned, Soundsory actually inherited from a lot of knowledge and technology and research from the Tomatis method that's already over 60 years old. The founders of Sound for Life are actually the owners of the Tomatis method, so there's a very strong partnership here. And then ForBrain is actually a tool that a lot of you already know, but which is another product of Sound for Life. It's already endorsed by thousands of therapists, so it's a headset equipped with bone conduction transducers, the dynamic filter again, and a microphone. It creates an enhanced auditory feedback loop, and and it's actually a great complement to Soundsory. So this is just to give you a bit of a vision, and so that you know that Soundsory is actually part of a wider range of tools that we're developing here at Sound for Life. Pricing, so now very operational matters. So we're selling Soundsory online through our website, soundsory.com. We ship worldwide. We also sell through Amazon. The price is $349 or 299 euros. There's a 2 years warranty and a 14 days money back guarantee. We're actually launching a promotion tomorrow. I mean, you'll get the communication tomorrow, but it started today. We're currently offering a 20% discount on our website. You can go straight on soundsory.com and you can enjoy 20% off because we'll be celebrating Autism Awareness Day, which is tomorrow actually. And then about the program for professionals. So for those of you who are already familiar with ForBrain, we haven't built an affiliate program here with Soundsory, but rather a program for professionals. Same idea in the sense that there is no commitment, you don't need to pay anything, you just need to sign up on the link that's at the bottom here of the slide. And we offer professionals very special offers. The idea is that you get access to very special prices and you can resell to your clients. So to give you an idea, the price online is $349. We're offering you bundles with as low as 5 units in a bundle and paying $199 per unit. So the idea is that there's $150 of difference between your purchasing price and the online price, which gives you a lot of flexibility on what you want to do with these products. I mean, you can buy them for yourself for your practice, you can resell them to your clients and enjoy the margin to invest in your own practice, to invest in research, to work on whatever you need to work on, or you can just choose to sell it at a discounted price to your clients. So we're giving you a lot of flexibility here, and we often have a lot of interesting offers. As part of the promotion that we're launching tomorrow, which I just mentioned, we also have a special bundle of only 3 units, so even lower quantities, at $230 per unit. So anyway, you'll get an email with all the details, but that's the idea if ever you're interested in not only using Soundsory for yourself, but if you're also interested in recommending it to your clients and actually selling it to them. That's it. So we're done with the presentation of the program itself. I'm not sure, but I feel there have been quite a few questions on the chat. So the idea now is to do a bit of Q&A. Yeah, so Irene, maybe if you can either activate your microphone or simply list it on the chat and we can just list all of the questions and we'll do our best to answer.
I hope you hear me, otherwise I'm gonna just post.
I can hear you from far away, but...
Yeah.
I'll try and catch one that I saw. I think there was one question about somebody who would be in a wheelchair or an individual in a wheelchair. Who has severe
Yeah,
motor
Irene, we can't hear you. I think it would be better if you could just post, write on the chat the questions, please. We really can't hear you. Thanks.
Yep. So one of the questions was, can I use it with a child with severe motor damage who is in a wheelchair? So yes, absolutely. You're really trying to stimulate that part of the brain and the body that has been damaged. So maybe the person, depending on the level of inability to move, might not be able to do all those exercises. So that's where you're going to have to use your kind of clinical expertise and modify as you see fit. Or maybe you're doing some hand over hand movements to help them kind of move through the movement patterns and facilitate that movement, but they're not yet able to do it independently. And then I think there was a question of, can you use it at the same time as Tomatis or in between? Was one of the questions, if I'm remembering correctly and scrolling, sorry.
I think, Cara, there's a new one from Irene. I think Irene maybe will list them in order of appearance, I guess.
Yep. So I'd also like to know Soundsory's application on anxiety disorder and panic disorder. I guess I would want to know first, that's not my area of expertise, but where are the anxieties coming from? Where is the anxiousness? Is it, around, being overwhelmed by information, by movement, by things like that? So I would say yes, that you could use that to support, to help kind of ground the client, to kind of get them more in their body. Again, that's not anxiety and things like that are not my area of expertise.
So, Cara, how about applying it on a client who doesn't have any diagnosis of SPD but auditory sensitivities?
Auditory sensitivities, yes, because the nature of the bone conduction, air conduction, you're working on the auditory, the cochlear part of the ear, and the music has higher frequencies, so you're really working on that as well. So I don't know if it was like a yes or no question. Can you use it? I'm sorry, I didn't catch all of it. And I think, sorry, I'm just trying to catch the ones that I'm reading right now too. So I see, why is it not recommended for patients with Parkinson's? It's not that it's not recommended. What Caroline had said was that it should be done under the supervision of a therapist. Oftentimes patients with Parkinson's have balance difficulties. So you want to make sure, and you want to see how that client would respond to the program. And depending on if they were still living at home or they were in a center with more support.
And they probably need help also adapting the body movement exercises, which will be difficult to just replicate by themselves.
Yes, so one of the questions is, how about children with attachment disorders or who may suffer from sensory issues? Yes, because you really want to, and again, I'm not an expertise in attachment disorders, but kids suffering from sensory issues, it's usually the body and grounding that helps them feel more organized, more calm, more relaxed. When we're providing, just from my OT lens, when I'm providing, deep touch pressure, proprioceptive activities, all things that connect them to the body. So using the Soundsory to really target the vestibular part of the ear and the body would be a great way to support individuals with sensory issues. And again, you're going to look at, okay, so the individual that you're working with has sensory issues. What are the sensory issues? Is it tactile defensiveness? Is it movement? Is it body? And you're going to base and adapt the use of the program to that client. Yep, I can only give you OT example. I don't believe that we do at the moment on either of those two products. A sensory profile for the Soundsory or the forebrain. I'm trying to read and scroll and catch and yeah, so they're asking some questions about. They are, sorry, it's going pretty quick. Are they easy to break? Nope. They are pretty durable, and if you use the headband, which helps hold them on so they're not slipping or foaming, because when they're moving, the head is being put in different positions, so the headband helps them stay in place. And when you're actually using the equipment, you want to always give it a quick equipment check. So you want to listen, make sure the sound sounds the same in both ears. You want to also put your ear to the top to make sure that you hear the bone conduction piece is working as well. And I think with everything, with with more sensitive clients, there might be some individuals who can't tolerate long periods of time of music or intense stimulation. So you're going to want to start slowly. Maybe you start 5 minutes a day, and then take a break, and then you do 10 minutes the next day, and you build up to the full 30 minutes of listening. There's a question about the relation between Tomatis and Soundsory. Can they be used all at the same time? You don't want to use them at the same time, so you don't want to have, you listen to Tomatis in the morning and then you listen to Soundsory in the afternoon, because they both are sound stimulation programs. What I usually do is I will have a child that will do a Tomatis program. Then during their break periods, I will recommend the Soundsory to keep the ears tuned and to keep the system and the brain body connection working. And I'll just give you a case example that I'm working with now. I'm working with a nope, the headphones cannot be used with the Tomatis program. But I'm working with a 17-year-old boy who has Down syndrome. He's done Tomatis listening in the past. He's done a few loops of Tomatis listening, and right now we're doing a modified version of the Soundsory where I just want him listening kind of 15 minutes a day just to keep his ears tuned in, so I'm not doing the full 25 minutes of listening for this particular client. I'll open up my clients to purchasing this unit. I think what helps is when I lend it to them for the week between their therapy sessions. That really helps them get a sense of how easy it is to use, what it consists of for their daily routine. And then clients are very open to purchasing it. And I think they like the fact that it's theirs. They can repeat it and use it often. It's not just you use it one time and then it sits in a closet. So my experience is they've been open to it. Thank you for writing some questions. Yes, I'm taking. I personally haven't. Oops, there's a lot of questions. So I personally haven't done rentals for the unit. I will usually lend just for the week, just to get parents used to it, and then they will purchase the music. And then there was just another question. Let me see if I can scroll back. Sorry. Do I test the impact? So I am taking videos before and after, which is a great way to show the progress and improvement of any intervention, and in particular the Soundsory headphones. Yes. It will definitely help. I think your kiddo, there's a question about if it will help an individual works with children with, kids with low muscle tone, physical developmental delays from ages 1 to, sorry, I'm just trying to coordinate scrolling down, sorry. 1 through 8. And the question is, if I just have them listen for the 30 minutes and they skip the exercises, will it still help? Yes, absolutely, because you're still getting 40 days of 30 minutes of stimulation to the ear, to the auditory system, so the cochlear, the vestibular part of the ear. 1-year-olds, you just are a little bit young for the headphones. You just want to make, as Caroline said, sure the fontanelles in the skull have closed, because there is this bone connection piece in the headphones. So you just want to make sure that that is actually the case, that they're closed before using the program.
Helena, I also see your question about what if you listen only to 15 minutes a day. I'm sending you a link to our website, where we're giving quite a lot of details on protocol and best practices. Basically, we recommend, but again, you can adapt it to your client's profile, but we recommend if you listen less than 20 minutes, then start over the next day. If it's already more than 20 minutes and there are just some tracks which your client cannot bear, then you can move on to the next day. I sent you the link through the chat. I'll let Cara give more information, but
yep, no, that was great. And also, there are some kids' music, so sometimes the adults don't necessarily enjoy the kids' music. It's just, it's not the singing of the kids' music, but it's a more jazzy, rhythmic rhythmicity to that piece of music. But if the adult or client you're working with really doesn't like it, you can skip that track and move on to the next. And was some feedback that I had received. Reading. Yep, there's a question about modifying listening for 15 minutes a day, which I think you just addressed, but the case example I gave was just a client that I've worked with for over a year now, so I'm quite familiar with him. He's the 17-year-old that has Down syndrome, so I just modified it where he's done some Tomatis listening, and now during his break time, I'm having him do the Soundsory, use the Soundsory in between sessions, and just right now 15-20 minutes per day for this particular case.
Betty, about your question about if Tomatis is better, I think it's difficult to compare, but Tomatis is can be far more customized to your client's profile. So I think you shouldn't compare Soundsory and Tomatis, and probably Tomatis will be far more specific and adapted to your client. And for dyslexia, I think the tool that actually makes the most sense is probably Forebrain. I don't know whether you already know it or not. You can go on forebrain.com, but this one really creates an enhanced auditory feedback loop. We've had several research studies that have proven that it actually helps improve the quality of speech of its users. And we've had a lot of testimonials. You can go through them on our website, through Facebook, that actually show that it helped people with dyslexia.
And just to piggyback on to that, because oftentimes individuals that have dyslexia, there also is some coordination difficulties and confusion with left-right. So the sounds also would be a good tool to support some of those motor skills if that is a problem with the individual who has the dyslexia.
They're complementary tools anyway. So.
Yeah. So the 15 minutes per day, do they go on to this? The question is, when the child listens for 15 minutes a day, do they go on to the second day, or do they continue from where they left off on day one? From my particular example with this kiddo, I'm having him just go day by day. So he listens day 1 for 15 minutes, day 2 for 15 minutes, and day 3 for 15 minutes. And on the headphones, I don't know if we had mentioned this, but you'll see, all the tracks are listed. and you'll start him off on it's day 1.1. So that's the 25 minutes of listening. And then there's day 1.2, which is the 5 minutes of the listening and the exercise. And that's how the program works. So it's 1.1, 1.2, 2.1, 2.2, up until day 40.
Kara, have you seen any issues with the kids that keep pressing the buttons?
Nope. I personally no. And if they were, I would just, redirect them up, nope, let's hold on to the swing, or maybe give them a fidget toy if they're really trying to fiddle with the button. And you always want to just check the volume before you put it on your child, just to make sure that it's not too loud. I think it automatically resets to volume 10 when it's on. So I would just lower it down a couple of notches. And I think, yeah, Tomatis and Soundsory are different programs. Tomatis is can be more specifically designed, and Tomatis really is working more on using one that uses different music. It uses Mozart music, and it's really working on the novelty and the attentional mechanisms to stimulate the brain to keep it new. And the activity is a little bit different. There's more parameters that you can adjust within that method.
Have you seen good results with dysgraphia, Kara?
With dysgraphia, I have not worked personally with. Actually, no, it's not true. I haven't. Yeah, depending on where the area of difficulty is with dysgraphia or handwriting and things like that. Is it a vision problem? Is it a body problem? Is it knowing where your body is and how hard to hold your pencil or not? And I think for parents too, it's a great, what I was trying to explain before too, is it's a great way to kind of address the skill in a short amount of time. So oftentimes, but sometimes kids that are working on handwriting, they're fighting it tooth and nail. They don't want to do it. They won't want to do the exercises. So if they know it's just a short period of time, after our warm up, we do our 5 minutes of exercise, and then we have our break. And sorry, there's a question about the buttons again. 2 kids pressing the buttons. Is it that they're trying to change the volume? Maybe I would check the volume. If you're seeing more questions than. Yep, so the music varies. So there's 9 pieces of music per day, and that changes. So there's one track will be a jazz, one track will be gospel, one track will be more of a children's song, and the order and the order and where they're placed will change daily. Any more questions?
Are there any other questions? We'll send you the presentation via email. There'll be the links to the videos, contact details. If you have any questions that we haven't answered today, please let us know. And I mean, you can contact us via info@soundsory.com, caroline@soundforlife.com. And I obviously work very closely with Kara, so all of these OT therapy related questions, I'll be working with her to reply.
Yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, we'll also send the recording. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Sorry. Sounds like some people had some technical difficulties. Apologies.
Yeah, sorry about that. We'll send everything.
Yep, we'll send everything out.
Okay, I think I will close the session. Let us know if any last minute questions, otherwise you can contact us by email. Yeah.
Is there a question? I'm not seeing anything on my end.
No, I just see there's a question for me.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, then I'll wait for your email.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day or evening.
Thank you.